So does an old man past his prime fit into this picture at all? What are you whining about, old man? Why are you past your prime? What Judith was talking about before Hermes Blastia, was it? Blastia created with techniques that should have been lost in the war are still active. Do you know what this means? I guess someone who survived the war brought either Blastia or those techniques back with him. If that person was still using the Blastia even though he knew it was harmful to the Earth, someone like that would have to be quite a villain indeed. Old man, don't tell me you... Hey now, yours truly was nothing but an innocent youth in the straight and narrow back then. I wouldn't do something like that even on my worst day. Hey, I was just trying to trick you into giving yourself away. You're a slippery one. Son of a... When are you gonna learn to respect some of your elders? Or some respect for your elders, whatever. So let's go inside now. Talk to them. Is that the core from the Ceres Blastia that Judith destroyed? Yes, it's definitely cut with a different formula than the usual core. It looks like what she said was true. She said she wasn't too good at lying after all. To discover that new technique you have created was bad for the world, after what must have been years of research. I can't imagine how the person who created the Hermes technique must have felt. Well, what if it had been you? If I found out that it hurt the Earth, I would have done something about it. But I wouldn't destroy the Blastia like that. What the? Nothing. If only things weren't so complicated. I could have just blasted her into oblivion and be done with it. Sure. I'm sure she clearly feels that way. I might as well save. There's old file, new file, old file, new file. Oh, sorry. Old file, new file, old file, new file. Actually shaved a couple hours off, which is pretty good, so let's save it. Now let's talk to Judy. Black screen of death.
Morning, Yuri.
Morning.
It's a beautiful morning, but even as we stand here, the air is out of balance, and our world may already be dying.
That's right.
Well, look who's feeling better.
In the past, these slight fluctuations of the air have not negatively affected our world. There have always been beings who maintain the balance by sensing changes in the airflow. Beings like Pharaoh and Baul, the Entelekea.
So the Entelekea were responsible for keeping the air balanced.
For ages, the Entelekea have regulated the air, but the recent increase has been greater than they could control.
Which is being caused by the Hermes Blastia.
And which is also why you were going around taking down as many of them as you could.
Yes, that was my mission. The path I walk with Baul, to whom I owe my life.
The path you walk.
Now some would even hunt the Entelekea for Apatheia. This has made the mission of the Entelekea even more difficult.
Why is everybody so crazy about these Apatheia anyway?
I'm afraid I don't have an answer. The air an Entelekea absorbs becomes condensed within its body over time. When its life is at an end, that condensed air forms a crystal, an Apatheia. That's all I know. I imagine Pharaoh could shed more light on the subject, though.
So Apatheia are crystals of concentrated air. If that's true and the energy could be extracted from the Apatheia, it would be a source of overwhelming power, I'm sure.
Could we really do that?
I don't know.
I bet somebody wants to use these things for the wrong reasons.
Why didn't you just tell us all this from the beginning?
Seriously, we could have avoided all this trouble if you just talked to us. Am I wrong?
Even if you had known, there are things not even you could have prevented.
What do you mean?
I showed up at Heliord because Baul had sensed a disturbance in the air. Where there was a disturbance, there was sure to be a Hermes blastia. But what I found there was not a blastia, it was a person. That had never happened before.
So it wasn't like you were looking for Estelle in particular back at Heliord.
Yet for some reason, Baul perceived Estelle as a disturbance in the air. I had to find out why. For the sake of the path I've chosen, it was at that time that Pharaoh first appeared. He seemed to have some idea who Estelle was. My mission was to destroy all the Hermes blastia. However, Estelle was obviously not a blastia. I needed to make absolutely certain. I made a deal with Pharaoh, and he agreed to grant me some time.
You mean...
If it became apparent that her existence posed too great a threat, then I would kill her.
You what?
Settle down. Obviously, Judith reached a different conclusion.
All right, I get it.
Belius said you possess a heart of compassion. If you can communicate that to Pharaoh somehow, you may learn what you should do.
Hey, there's no real reason for you to fight Pharaoh anymore, right? I mean, we know the Hermes blastia are what's causing the problem and everything. If we just make sure the apatheia don't fall into the wrong hands...
I still want to meet Pharaoh. I want to hear what he has to tell me.
But...
Please try to understand. I have to know more about myself and take responsibility for who I am.
all right.
Sorry, Yuri. I don't think we can decide what to do about Judith right away.
I promise not to leave again until things have been settled, as you said. I need to accept that responsibility myself.
Let's go and find Pharaoh. We'll finally be getting around to one of the first things we set out to do. We can work out the rest once this is finished.
There is a rocky crag in the center of the sands of Kogor. That is where Pharaoh lives. Baul can take us there.
Okay, let's go. This meeting's been a long time coming.
I can communicate with Baul, but there are still a few things you should know.
Like what?
Baul can only land on the ground in wide, open spaces, so you won't be able to dismount on steep mountain ranges or in narrow canyons.
Can't he land on water?
Water's no good either.
Really? He looks like he'd be a good swimmer.
Yeah, he'd sink like a rock.
Huh. Who knew?
But that's why we have a ship, right?
Right. If you'd like to get down onto the ocean, let me know. Baul will set our ship down there for us.
Okay, but what should we do when we want to fly again?
Use Baul's horn to call him to you.
Bowels. That's all there is to it?
Every Intellicaea has a special region in its brain that can be used for communication with the special power Critians possess.
Huh. So we can get a hold of him by using that.
Right.
Obtain Baul's horn. These are the controls. It's pretty much similar to using the boat. No real difference. Just for you click down on the left stick to call him. And now we have our airship. Well, not really. Unlike other games, we're more resourceful. We turn our boat into an airship. Haha.
Judith, you're familiar with Pharaoh, aren't you?
Is he really as scary as he seems?
Well, let's see. Sometimes he's logical, sometimes he's emotional. He can be really scary or really kind.
All right, that didn't help very much.
One thing's certain, his power is extraordinary, even among the Intellicaea.
Here's hoping we don't wind up looking like poor old Mount Temza the moment we meet him.
If he can do that to a mountain, there wouldn't be anything left if he turned on us.
I wish you wouldn't joke about scary things like that.
Why should we get scared before we even get there? Especially if he's that strong.
Wish I could take it as lightly as you and Yuri.
Alright, it's time to finally meet with Pharaoh after all this time. Right here and not! Haha! Side quest time! You thought there wouldn't be any side quests now that we got an airship? Think again! That's all there is to us. Also, we can also discover the map and fly wherever we want to, so I recommend just flying around to uncover the map. It's just easier to do later, and you can also see pretty much territory you haven't seen before. That and you can take a look at the dog marking map and see like what's going on with that. We'll quickly take a look at that just to see how it's going. Like, see, he's got that region pretty much under wraps, while we're like have a couple towns in the Tulbikia. So yeah, but we actually want to go to Emmett Hill, so it's way the fudge over here. And we want to enter from the... is it the west or the east? I gotta double check my thing. East. Okay. Well, enter from this side, then the other right after. Kind of weird. You did this one too, didn't you, Judy? Yep, that's right. Hey, Judith. The reason you were destroying the Hermes blastia was because they were a danger to the planet, right? That's right. So in other words, you did it to save the world from harm? I don't mind if you think about it that way. Something about that just doesn't make sense to me. Why not just take down the Hermes guy who's making the blastia? Either that or tell a mage about it or something. I was putting my life on the line to put a stop to the rogue blastia that were causing strange effects on the world's air. No one would believe a crazy story like that. If you only told me... You think you could have done something about all the Hermes blastia in the world when you don't even know how many there are? I'm sure that you may have been able to stop one or two of them with enough trying, but you would surely die before you had managed to take care of all of them. Since you were with Baul, there was something you could do about the blastia going out of control. Is that what you mean, Judy? I don't have any way of making adjustments to the blastia, so destroying them is the only way I can make sure it wouldn't be a problem. But if you think we might be able to go by Ospio the next time we get some free time, why bring up that all of a sudden? So both the Hermes blastia, there's something I'd like to investigate a bit. But you see... Yeah, you'd like to go back home, wouldn't you, Rita? Not particularly. I mean, her room kind of sucks. Alright, let's stop by there when we have some time. That's right, we will be heading there.
I never imagined you'd be able to speak with the Entelekea.
Well, I use a Critian technique to do it. Wait, do I detect a little jealousy?
Maybe. Right, Rapide?
Yuri, you want to talk to Rapide?
I think the two of you understand each other well enough already.
I got him pretty well figured out, but I don't know if he understands me.
I think he feels the same way.
Alright, well, we're going to enter now from the other side, because there's a couple more things we want to do in Emmett Hill. Yeah, there's a long list of stuff to do. Long. Did I mention it's long? I'm sure I haven't, but you know, it's a long list of side quests to do. So we want to enter from this side now. It's up here, that's right. I'm gonna pop on a holy bottle because there still are monsters here, and honestly, I could one-shot them. I just don't want to have to fight them, clearly. Alright, should be just up here.
What are you?
Who are you paying your respects to?
An old friend. A dear comrade who shared my cause and gave his life in battle.
Battle? Was he in a guild?
Why would you think so?
Well, Imperial Knights who fall in the line of duty are given a state funeral.
This has nothing to do with the Empire or the guilds.
What's that supposed to mean?
Those institutions are nothing more than man-made trivialities.
Is he the reason you've been drifting around so long?
That is none of your concern.
Hey, no need to get testy.
Just whose grave is this anyway?
It's not a knight or somebody from a guild. That's gotta mean...
I know some people can't afford a burial, but why put them in a place like this?
Estelle, what are you doing?
We may not know whose grave this is, but this feels like the right thing to do.
Might as well. Okay, let's head back down. I think we're done here.
Look at Raven, he did not care at all. What a jerk.